Hey guys, thank you so much for all of you for joining in today and taking your time out of your Saturday to join us and learn about presale condos. So my name is Ravi Bindi. I am a realtor with Royal LePage. I've been a realtor for the last 17 years, and I personally have invested into buying presale condos and properties on and off. I've been an investor for the last 23 years. So I bought my first property in 1998. It was a one-bedroom condo for $96,000 at that time. So I've been going on as an investor for a while too. So the second person who will be presenting today, her name is Shams Rizuki. And she has been a mortgage rep for the last five years. And she has 7.5 years of experience with Bank of Montreal. So she'll be talking about mortgages with presale projects. So there's 5 objectives I have that I want to cover. I want you to understand how presale condos work, okay? So understanding of how presale condos work. My second objective is that you understand how to evaluate presale condos. So you're not jumping into something that won't be a good investment. The third thing we'll talk about is how does financing work with presale condos? So Shams will be talking about that. And to make a smart purchase, and I'll talk more about that, what goes behind the scenes when you analyze presale projects. And then we'll take question and answers, anything that we may not have covered that you may have questions about, and we'll answer those as well. So now, what is a presale condo? It's also known as a pre-construction condo. So the way it works is the developer markets these condos before the building is up. And what they do is they make up a showroom, and then they like give you brochures, which is also in our industry called A-kits, which shows you features of the project, floor plans, and approximate prices, okay? There's layers of protection for buyers. So a lot of time we get asked, hey, if I give a deposit, is my deposit secure? It is actually secure, because when you give the deposit, you're not giving it to the developer directly. You're giving it to the developer's solicitor in trust. So the lawyer for the developer holds this money in trust in case the developer doesn't complete, and you get your money back. Now, there's also 7 days right of rescission. And so the way it works is if you jump into a project and then after 2-3 days, you feel like, okay, I rushed into this project and I don't think this is a good deal, you can back out for any reason. You have that legal right by law to back out for any reason. Your deposit, like I said, is held with the law firm and until completion, and it's protected. And pre-construction, yes. So that's what I said earlier, that presale condos are also known in different terminologies like pre-construction condos, pre-construction buildings. So just keep those terminologies in mind, okay? So our example, we'll be working with an example today. So let's say the developer has a showroom set up at such and such address. The deposit structure, there's always a deposit structure a developer has. So in this case, let's say the deposit structure is 5% now, 5% in 6 to 9 months, and another 5% in 12 months, and another 5% in 18 months. Building completes in 2024. So lots of these buildings take time to complete. So 2024, Prices start, they have starting prices and approximate prices when they're launching the project. And what they do is they gauge how much interest there is, and the prices may fluctuate. If there's quite a bit of demand for, let's say, a 1-bedroom in that project, the developer may raise the price to sell the other products that they have, which is 1-bedroom and den, 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, right? And let's say the location is Central City. So this is what information they give you, and then the showroom that they organize and the A-kit that they give you. This is what you will get. Okay, so this is the example we'll work with. And this is an example only, just so you know. It's not reflecting any developer or any specific development. And with that example in mind, I just want to go over pros and cons of buying presale condos. So when you are buying a presale condo, the pros is that you get, gives you time to complete, and you may get a good price. So you have to determine that are you getting, so you get time to complete. In our previous example, until 2024. And when you buy a project, there is an analysis that goes, and we'll talk about that in a bit. You can save up deposit, down payment. You get, so for example, you put 5% now you can save up the other 5% in next 6 to 9 months, and the other 5% in 18 months. So it gives you quite a bit of time to save up money, and that price can go up, and any profits that come from the increase in price is basically yours, because when you write the contract, you have determined the price and set the price. The cons are that the late deposit can tie up your money, and the opportunity cost of using that money somewhere else. Where could you use that money, right? You're getting no rent, no income from that money at all. It's tied up in that project. So what else can that money do for you? And you have to analyze that as well. Now, price can come down by the time project completes. So you will still have to complete at that higher price if the prices came down. So these are some of the cons when you buy a presale product. Now, some of the information that that you should know, that sometimes the first-time buyers get an incentive from a developer where you can only put down 5%. So you don't have to put down that whole 20%. You can put down 5%. And with a CMHC approved letter, okay? So you have to go through the mortgage process, and Sham's gonna talk about this a bit more in detail. So once you get that CMHC approved mortgage, you can actually put down 5%, and that's it for the rest. You don't have to put down anything else. Now, if you're a foreign buyer or in work visa, at completion, you have to pay foreign buyer tax. So just be careful with this when you're buying a presale, that you're not, you have your PR, or you are a citizen of Canada, or PR, you have your PR. Some of the costs you should keep in mind, that whatever price you see does not, most of them do not include GST. So you have to add another 5% to it. So keep that in mind. If you are buying this as an investor, you have to pay property transfer tax, which is 1% on first 200,000 and 2% on the remainder. So that's on top of your 5%. If you are buying this for personal use, then that property transfer tax does not apply if you're buying anything under 750,000. Okay. There's CMHC fee involved as well. And CMHC fee is basically a fee that Canada Mortgage Housing Corporation charges to ensure the bank that if you default, that they will pay off the bank. And the fee happens to be in an incremental way. So if you put 15% down, you pay less fee. If you put 5% down, you pay the most, okay? So you have to account these costs plus the legal fees and all of that as well at completion. So that's your cost as a buyer. Now, when you buy a presale condo, what you're doing, you're not completing on this project. So what you're doing is you're actually buying a contract, right? You're buying the right to complete on a unit that will complete later on. So you have a piece of paper, the contract that you have the right to complete on that condo at that price on that given date. Okay. Now, how do you buy a presale condo? You can actually walk into any showrooms that you see around and you can just go in and buy anything you want. Or, and actually the marketing reps that work in that showroom are working for the developer. Their interest is for the developer, and they will inform you of what they have, and they'll allow you to pick which unit you want and you buy. You can actually also get a realtor representation as a buyer. So a realtor can walk in with you and they can help you analyze and understand the project and make you help you make informed decision. Okay. And do you have to pay a realtor? No, you don't. So when you take a realtor with you, the developer already has a fee that they give a realtor for bringing their buyers in. So you don't pay anything to a realtor, okay? Now, how do you determine if a presale condo is a good deal? So there's many factors that are involved when looking at a presale condo. One of the things we do is forecasting. If you look up regression analysis, the way it works is you can actually take the past events of what has happened in our market. For example, unemployment rate, mortgage rate. You can look at things like inward migration. You can make a mathematical formula out of this and say that, okay, if these things happen, then the prices will move up. If these set of things happen, the prices will start moving down, okay? So we help you understand that. Then we should look at comparables. And does it mean that what things are selling for now will be the value of these condos, presale condos that are selling? Not necessarily, but the closer the prices are to today's comparable, the larger profit you can have. And there's a lot of other variables that come into play. What is happening in that area? Is there a new SkyTrain coming? Is this area designated as downtown? And then you have to look at supply and demand. So there's a lot of analysis that goes in behind the scenes, and we help you understand all this as an agent. So you need to determine also what is your budget? Like, how much can you afford to spend on one of these condos, right? You also have to analyze floor plans. When you look at the floor plans, there's so many, and you have to kind of walk through in your mind. You have to walk through that layout, and you have to see, does this layout make sense? Is this layout practical? And if it's not, you shouldn't be buying that. And this is one of the most important things we help you do, because as a realtor with 17 years of experience and walking through so many different condos with buyers, we know exactly the kind of things they like and dislike. So we can actually tell you by looking at the floor plans that, you know what, floor plan A is not good compared and when compared to floor plan B and C. Here's why you should buy B or C. Okay. Analyze product mix. The word product mix means you need to analyze how many one bedrooms are there, how many two bedrooms, how many one bedroom and dense, how many three bedrooms. So you have to look at the product mix. If a project has 300 units and 200 of them are, let's say, one bedrooms compared to 20 one bedroom and dense, then you have to decide which one should you get as an investor or even for yourself. The second thing you should look at is the pricing model of that project. So you should look at how they have priced the one bedrooms, how they've priced the one bedroom and then two and three. And then you should look at the direction, because a lot of people don't like north because it's dark. South is very favorable. And then there's west, which can get a bit heated in summer, but you can enjoy a beautiful view. And the way you counter heat is air conditioning. So find out if you're buying a west-facing unit, you want to find out if the project has air conditioning. And then east is morning sun, right? So this is what you should look at when analyzing a presale condo project. Now, these are some of the features of the directions. Now, the south facing might have a huge building coming up. The west one that you like might have a power plant coming up on that side. So you have to understand what is happening around that surrounding area too, to determine if this is the right direction as well. Okay, so when we look at projects, this is what we do. We analyze, and this is what we recommend everyone to do. Now, let's say now you found a presale project, and you like the location, you've done your forecasting, and you've said, okay, this is the right time to buy. And you look at the project and you say, you go into the project and you say, can I negotiate? Sometimes, if the project is in demand, you cannot negotiate, right? And if the project is slow in sales, there's times where you can go in and negotiate. We have taken numerous times, we have taken 20, 30 clients because we gather clients for certain projects and we take all of them. And we try to get a better deal with the developer and the marketing team. And sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not. In this market, it's kind of tough to do, but we still have been able to do with some projects. Okay, so there's sometimes you can negotiate. Now, when you write the contract, you want to write things to your benefit as well. So we talk about terms, and as a buyer's agent, we would tell you what those terms are that we should put in the contract. You get 7 days time to rescind, right? So you can walk away from the unit you bought by just simply writing an email to us and the developer saying that, hey, for whatever reason you have decided to back out. And it can be for whatever reason. It simply can be, hey, I've changed my mind. Okay. Should you get approved for a mortgage? Absolutely. And Sham's going to talk about the importance of getting approved for the mortgage and how that part works. And deposit structure. So it's really important that when you get into one of these, that there's a deposit structure that you have to follow that we described earlier, right? So 5% now, 5% in 6 to 9 months. So if you put down 5% now, and a developer sends you a reminder email, we call you as well and remind you that your deposit is due. time is of the essence. Don't be late with your deposit, because if the developer is tough, they may just cancel the contract, and that can happen, right? So what I'll do is I would like to introduce Shams. She will go over her presentation and talk more about what to look out for when buying presale condo project, condo unit. She will talk more about the mortgage and how that works. So I will pass the screen to Shams, and Shams, you can take over from here.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Ravi is good?
No. Hold on. Oh, there we go.
Good? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Perfect. So I'll just start with introducing myself. So my name is Shams Razuki. I'm a mortgage specialist with BMO Bank of Montreal. I've been with BMO, as Ravi said, I've been with BMO more than 7 years. As a lender, I've been like there with 5 years. So I have experience with mortgages for past 5 years. Today, I'm here to share our program for, which is, we call the BMO Cap Rate program for the pre-sale condos, and how the the pre-approval and the formal approval works with us. So few things that actually to start with the approval for the pre-sale. So first, we actually approve you for zero cost. You don't pay anything for the application. Plus, you get the approval within 72 hours. As we are aware that you have like 7 days for like to make a decision if you would like to proceed with it or if you would like to cancel, as Ravi was actually mentioning. So a few things that actually we have that actually get asked by clients that they are worried about when they're actually purchasing a condo or like a townhouse that's completing, like let's say like in 2 years or 3 years. So number one is actually it's financing approval, second rate, third appraisal. So I'll start today with the financing approval and how does that work. So we usually recommend clients to actually get pre-approved for the mortgage, as we are again like based on your income, liability, and all your financial situation, how much you can get approved for. Of course, we would have the conversation with you how much you would like to put down, 5%, 10%, or like actually you would like to put 20% by the time of completion. We just need to know exactly like the maximum you can put down. Based on that, we will give you the approval. So approval is going to be more like a formal approval, not a pre-approval, because we do know you would have a contract within those 7 days. So the amount, for example, we do actually, if you are interested in putting less than 20%, we will include actually the insurance premium, which is we will calculate it based on the amount you're actually purchasing, and plus like based on how much down you are putting, we will let you know how much is going to be included with the mortgage price as well. And also like the other thing we actually do go through it, which is the GST. We do actually include the GST with the mortgage amount. We get that asked by the client if you have to pay upfront or you can actually include it. Yes, you can actually include it with the mortgage amount if you would like. That's up to you. Most clients do, so that way like actually they can actually pay it in lump sums instead of actually paying it all together with the lawyer. The other part of the approval, which is the terms and conditions, which is again like we do actually get the formal approval. So we do verify the income. We do get like everything actually completed at the beginning, which is if you are putting down payment, we need proofs of actually the deposit you've already have done, which is the draft you've already given to the developer. The rest we can actually see it later, like once actually get close to completion. Also, a few things that we actually might need, like for example, if you are a non-permanent resident right now and you're purchasing a property, yes, we will give you approval based on that. We're going to add it as a condition by the time of completion. We do need to see your PR and we do need to see your social insurance changed. for that, to make sure that actually you are not paying the 20% foreign tax, and make sure that actually everything is included with your mortgage. The second part of the program, which is the capped rate, and what it is basically that we secures you like the rate for like the amount of like the whatever it takes for the project to complete. For example, like if the project is actually completes in 24 months, we do secure you the capped rate for 24 months. So after completion, and then we're ready to give you the money. If you see the rates have risen up, you don't have to worry about it because your capped rate is actually approve you for like lower than that. If it's actually we see like lower interest rates, like for example, if you want to switch it to a variable, we can definitely look into that, which is 90 days prior to closing. All that we can like we usually review before the closing to make sure that everything is good. The third thing that actually clients are worried about is the appraisal. As Ravi said, some project that actually the value of the property actually be less at the time of completion. So what we do, we get the appraisal done upfront. Once you actually sign a contract, we will actually send one of our representatives to do an appraisal, and it's based on the blueprint and by the floor plan that actually given to us by the developer, and of course like given to you. Based on that, we will actually let you know how much it is going to be sold for and the market value and everything, so that you don't have to worry about it. It's all approved. With those three steps, like you are for sure like approved for like everything, and you don't have to worry about it. In terms of like actually like let's say like if you are like right now approved for like the application and everything, all terms and conditions are good, we approve your income and all this, and then let's say like next year for any reason you lose your job, you don't have to worry about getting another approval. You've already approved, you already have a solid approval from BMO. You don't have to worry about like what happens after. Of course, if you would like to cancel or like sell the property, that's up to you. But we actually with BMO, we do have it 100% approved for you. So you don't have to worry about like in 24 months what's gonna happen. The other thing is actually we do offer BMO, which is alternative options, approval options within 90 days. So let's say, for example, you bought a condo for like 500,000, and at the time, like once it's actually completed, we actually did another appraisal if you would like, and then it comes up to 700,000. We can finance it up to 80% of the 700,000. With that funds, like you can actually pay whatever you have to pay for the mortgage. The rest will be yours. If you would like to invest it, if you would like to actually put it as down for another property, that will be like up to you, which is we usually like go through that as well and see what's the options then like for the funds that actually you have extra. And also the last but not least, what we do with our approvals, we would actually introduce you to one of our colleagues at the branches. And what they do, they will actually sign the documents with you and also try to offer you the best we can, which is if we have any promotions for account opening, you do get pre-approvals with line of credit, credit cards, and overdraft protection with most of our applications. So they will help you set up all that to start actually building your relationship with us and to make sure that everything is good at the time of completion. A few things that we actually ask clients to have to make it easier and faster for the approval, like if we can have the income, which is basically like the income, it's document that we actually the most important ones, which is the most recent for everything. Like we usually do need 2 pay stubs and 2 T4s. For self-employment, we usually require more documents as they are like more involved if like there are sole proprietor or corporation. All that we go through it within the first appointment that we have with the client. And of course, there's 2 pieces of ID if the clients are actually new to BMO, and purchase and sell agreement. So that way we can calculate the price, and also we calculate the GST. And of course, if you actually planning to put less than 20%, we will actually get you the approval from the insurance as well, which is CMC or Sagan, or like there is actually 3 of them that we actually deal with. So we can get you the formal approval from them. So at the time of completion, you don't have to worry about another approval. Realtors listing, if any, some pre-sales like actually do have realtors listing if it's actually like it's closer to completion. Floor plan, of course, that's the main one that we do need with the pre-sale, so we can get an appraisal done. 3 months of bank statement for the down payment if you do have the down payment right now. If your plan is actually to pay 5% every 6 months or every 3 months, we would need actually the copy of the draft that you actually paid to the developer, so that way we can satisfy that tag, and of course list of assets, any asset you would have that would actually help us with the approval to make sure that you do have a fallback in all this. Yeah, so that's basically how the program works. The approval does take up to 72 hours maximum for that, and we usually get back to you within that amount. If we don't have some of the documents, then it does take longer. So that's why we actually ask clients to give us everything upfront, so that way we can get you everything as soon as possible, and we start working with the realtor and you to get everything in line for you. I will open the line for actually any questions you may have. So yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead, Ravi.
Yeah, so just to recap and just to understand this correctly, what you're telling me that BMO has a product where if I buy a pre-sale now, you will fully approve me for the completion. So usually it's 90 days, right? So you're telling me BMO has a product where you will approve me for the 3-year term, like the 3 years it will take for the project to complete.
Yeah, so we approve the applications and everything, and the rate is actually approved for 36 months. So let's say like if you buy a pre-sale right now and then you, for some reason, like you lose your job, you don't have to worry about it next year or like in 36 months because you already have a firm approval from us. We will give you the money no matter what.
So
unless you,
So regardless of whatever happens with my job, I may change my job, may get a promotion, and now it's not 3 months, right? I haven't.
So for pre-sale, you do have it up to 36 months. Yes.
This is a huge thing, guys. Like, and this is why you should have an approval in place, because circumstances do change in life. You may decide to have a kid. It shouldn't stop you from having a child because you bought a pre-sale condo. So get it approved right at that time, because that approval is held for you for 3 years. Doesn't matter what your circumstances are at that point, right? And so you mentioned about also about if I don't have my PR, right? So at the time, just so you guys understand this, because you are buying a pre-sale product, a product that has not completed at this point, you have the right to complete a piece of paper, a contract that allows you to complete 3 years down the road. So my question to you is, if you don't have your PR and you write a contract now, but you know you're going to get your PR in like 6 months, maybe latest a year. When you complete on the project in 3 years down the road, that's what you have to determine. Will you have your PR at that time? Because if you will, then that's when the government will look at, are you a citizen or a PR holder at that time of completion, right? And that's what bank looks at as well when you are getting a mortgage. So am I correct, Shams?
Yes. So basically for something like this, for those clients, we would add it actually as a term and condition for closing. So we do need to see your PR before completion, just to make sure to save the client of paying the 20% tax. And we have done it, as you said, some PR processes like does take 6 months, some 3 months. But if they're actually the project completes in 2 years, what we do the approval, we get everything, like most of the documents done, unless and will be pending on that one only, that we do need to see your permanent residency before actually completion to make sure everything works fine. Because if we don't see that and for any reason it gets delayed, in some cases that actually the developers will let them extend. In some cases is actually they tell them no, so the client will lose the sale. So that's why we do upfront, we tell them we do need to add this as a condition. We do need to see the PR and the social insurance number change before completion, just to save them from the 20%, of course, and it's for their own good.
Perfect. Thanks so
Yeah.
much. Any other questions, guys, for Shams?
I had a question for Shams.
Yeah. Right.
So, like for people who want to buy properties in the States, such as like vacation homes, like condos or houses, do you guys also approve for that or no?
We don't. The best way to do it, what we usually recommend is actually we do refinance. If you do have a property here, we can refinance that, and then those funds you can actually use it to buy a property in the States. Or we do have the other part, which is we have BMO Harris in the state that we can connect you with one of our colleagues there, and then they can help you with a mortgage at the state, because BMO is here in the state, so we work closely together with it.
Sorry, say that again. What is it? BMO what?
So there is BMO Bank of Montreal in Canada and BMO Harris in the States. So if you are interested if you're interested of buying a property in the state, we usually connect you with a lender there or a mortgage specialist, so that way they can help you with the process. And then of course they can offer you the best. But if we were to actually do it in Canada, we would actually do it as like a refinance.
Okay,
of your property here. Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so I have some more questions on the chat, so we'll answer that in a bit. Okay, so I'm going to those questions with my next few slides. So we'll come back to Q&A in a bit towards the end, and I will share my screen now. Just give me one sec. Okay, so there we go. So you've probably heard of a terminology called assignments. And what does that mean? So the way what does assignment mean, first of all? So assignment means that you're asking the developer that, hey, now that I have this contract in place at this price to complete on this day, I would like the right to assign this contract to another person who can complete, right? And the way it works is when you assign the contract, now you get your deposit back from that person who's buying from you, and now that person's in charge of completing. But if that person doesn't complete, they lose that deposit, and you have to complete. So you always have to be prepared for the completion. Okay. Should I buy the assignment as the end goal? You should not. It's icing on the cake, basically. When the prices do go up, you should have some sort of right to assign, but it shouldn't be your end goal. Okay, it should be one of your goals, but not the end goal. And you should always be prepared to complete on a project like any project you buy as an end goal. Don't get yourself in trouble by buying like 5, 6 of these, because some people have done that in the past, and we highly recommend you do not, and because you can get in trouble. One of the questions was, what if I can't complete on it? Basically, the developer keeps your deposit. They can decide to sell it for cheaper and come after you for the losses that they had, right? Assignments, the way they work is you need to have the developer's permission for assignments. So the developer has to give you in writing that they're allowing you to assign and advertise on MLS. Because we can actually advertise, even the building's not up, I can actually advertise as a realtor on MLS that I have a unit on a certain project for this much, and it's an assignment of sale. Okay, is there a fee involved? Yes, there is. Sometimes there isn't, and that we try to negotiate with the developer depending on how many deals we take to them. We will ask them, hey, can you waive the assignment fee? And assignment fee is there, but also there's an admin fee now, because the government has made it difficult for the developers. Now the government wants the developers to file so much paperwork with the government so they know what is happening and who's assigning and who's buying these assignments. So the developer has to do a bit more work, and that cost, they're passing it on to you, right? So there will be a fee. So it's called assignment fee. And then you must find out what the admin fee is. Sometimes it's $1,000. Sometimes they charge you $2,000, $2,500. So it's really important to find that out. And this is negotiable. Should know the terminologies of when you are doing the assignment too. So the word lift equals profit. So whenever you hear that word, that, hey, how much is my lift? It means profit, okay? Assigner is you, because you are the person who is assigning it to the next buyer. And the assignee is that buyer who is buying this contract from you, okay? Assignment contract is very different than your regular purchase contract. And a realtor needs to know how to fill this out. We've done numerous of these, so we know exactly how this works and what to put in here and what to put in here for your advantage, right, as well. Now, the way it works closer to completion is you will be notified by the developer and us when you buy from us that your unit is coming up for completion, and you need to start communicating with your mortgage broker, your insurance person, and start doing all that work. Start looking at the mortgage rate with Shams. Did the mortgage rate come down? So what Shams can do is renegotiate that rate without touching the approval process and get you the lower rate if the rates are lower at the time of completion, right? If the rates are higher, you get that lower rate that Sham has got for you. Now, few weeks prior to completion, the developer will say, okay, you have this set date to do a deficiency walkthrough. So what does deficiency walkthrough mean? It means that the developer gives you a chance to walk through the unit and point out what are some of the defects in the unit. So you may say that, okay, this wall is not painted properly. The window has a chip. The floor has scratches. So you point out all these things. It must be documented and signed. That these are some of the deficiencies that need to be done before you take possession of it. And there's times where the developer may not get trades in because some of these guys don't want to come in for like small jobs. So they may have difficult time getting trades. So once you move in, it might be that he or she has to organize the whatever work that needs to be done, okay? So deficiency walkthrough is totally different than the 1-year warranty. Within a year, if you see anything that is like nail pops, for example, on drywall, or you see one of those hairline cracks on top of your doors on the drywall, like those kind of things will be covered by the 1-year warranty. So in the first year, and lots of these, well, all of these buildings come with 2, 5, 10-year warranty as well. So in 2 years, there's a few things covered. In 5 years, there's few things covered, and in 10 years, there's like big things like structural and all that deficiencies are covered. So this happens 2 weeks about prior to completion. So just know that as soon as you have done your walkthrough, you will be given a letter saying your completion is on this date. So just be prepared for it, and be prepared with your down payment and all of that, and lawyer information and all of that. And then you get the keys and you move in, right? So that's how it works. One of the things we would like to offer is a free buyer consultation meeting. In this buyer consultation meeting, we find out what your needs are, and then based on your needs, we cater a personalized plan for you, and we guide you through this process and help you understand how everything works. Our job is to basically educate and guide you, and not to sell you anything. The selling will just happen, right? So once we show you everything, how everything works, then you decide if you want to buy. What I would like to do is, at this point, I think we're almost done. And if you guys have any questions for me or Shams, we would love to answer it. So please unmute and fire away your questions.
Just one question for Shams. If we have the formal approval, which is not a pre-approval, and if at the time of the completion, so that means like when we have that approval, we just go to lawyer and they transfer the fund for mortgage, or any sort of approval required before completion, or any type of documentation need to present to bank.
Okay, so if everything is good, there is no like extra conditions added, as I said, like for example, like a PR or like down payment that is not pending till the end, we are all good to go. What we do usually 90 days before completion, which is when we get the note from the developer, we would sign the documents with you, and then after that we'll pass everything on to the to the lawyer, and then the lawyer will sign with you and get the draft for the rest of the funds, which is like the down payment or the GST. It depends what's still pending. But the formal approval, it is giving its firm, and 90 days before the completion, we do sign with you, and we're all good to go for closing.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And
so we have some questions on the chat here. So, okay, so going to, can we go for appraisal before completion? I believe if they get approved at the time they write the contract, at completion they don't need appraisal, do they? Shams?
Yes, we do get the appraisals done up front with the floor plans and the blueprints from the developer. Some cases clients do request that actually we get a second appraisal done at the time of completion to borrow more, and yes, we can do that up like if the clients are requesting.
Okay. And there's another question here. I guess this would more apply to me. How do I get? Is it difficult to get an approval from a developer for assignment? Sometimes there is. So a developer at that point of, like, usually what they do is they will write in the contract. So you have to read the fine prints, and they'll define how assignments would work. And in the contract, sometimes they write that you are allowed to assign after a certain date. And when you go to the developer for approval, if you are selling it for a lower price, they won't allow it. If you are, so at that point also, they will see how close you are to completion as well. So the closer you are, the harder it is to get an approval for assignment, right? And you also have to think, does it make sense to assign this property like in November, December when the market is slower, or do you want to wait till spring, right? And then also there's lots of factors involved. So in one-on-one, we would advise you and show you what to do at that point. But sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's not. So it totally depends on developer. Can we go for appraisal? Is there a commission involved when assigning? Yes, there is, because it takes a lot of effort to market these things. There's a lot of realtors who don't know how to write these contracts, unfortunately. And we, as a listing agent, would guide them through that process and sit with them and just show them, hey, here's how you should fill this out. But review this with your broker manager, right? So because we spend a lot of time marketing and trying to find buyers for these, yes, there is fees involved. When do we get property disclosure? So this is it. So with pre-sales, there's a package that you get. It's like a thick package, and it's called Developer's Disclosure Statement, and that they give you right at the start before you even sign the contract, and they get your acknowledgement that you have received this document. Now, it's really important to read through this document as well. And when you start reading it, you'll understand that there's a lot of things that you can read and comprehend, but there's a lot of things you cannot. And for that reason, you must get a lawyer involved to understand some of the things you don't understand, okay? There's a document called Form J, which is usually in the appendix of the whole package. And one of the most important things to do is to read through it and just make sure that you're grandfathered basically for rentals. I had a situation where we found that a development where the way that Form J was filled out, that strata lots 1 to 13 weren't allowed to rent, and then everything else was grandfathered. So when the strata council, when the building was formed and the strata decided that they should have rental restrictions, unfortunately that applied to those 13 units. So it's really important that you do your due diligence, read through that package, investigate a bit about the developer as well, read through how many parking spots they have, what the product mix is, and all those details that they give you in the developer's disclosure, okay? How does mortgage work when buying investment, holding property? So when you buy in the holding property, I think Shams can probably take this one.
Yeah, so for the approval for the under the holding property, it will be the same kind as a personal. So we would qualify you based on your income and the company, if the company is making any money, of course. If it's a new holding company, you'll be basically relying more on your actually income, but then the approval and the rate and everything, the process will be the same as like a regular mortgage. It's just basically we make the holding company as like basically the primary of the application.
Okay.
And
then the other question here is the second appraisal cost. How much is the second appraisal cost? So just so you understand the context. So now you have completed because you didn't need an appraisal, but what you're trying to do is take equity out of your property. Am I understanding this correctly, Shams?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to take equity out of the property that you just completed on and take that money out and use it for something else. So at that time, the bank will do an appraisal because they want to know what that property is worth at that time. And how much is the cost?
It's $300 for the appraisal. Yeah.
Yeah. And the way you should look at it, it's cost of doing business. So if you can take your initial investment out of that mortgage, you can use that somewhere else now, right? Is this presentation available to download? It will be on YouTube. We will upload it. And we'll share the link with everyone who is on here. How much time does developer give to complete? Let's say. So they will give you an indication that, okay, we are, for example, I have a project right now where they already have given us an indication that it will complete between February and May of 2022. So they have already given us that indication starting September. So that's what they do. They will give you a range of how many months it will take. So you should be prepared. You should be prepared. You should start prepping for completion like from now, okay? So they give you enough time. The actual date is given to you closer towards like deficiency walkthrough. When do we get lift? Okay, so in the assignment of contract, there's a few things. In the assignment of contract, the way it works is there's few options on how the money will be transferred from the assignee to the assigner. So assigner being you. And option one would be where you would get the lift and your deposit right away, okay? That usually does not happen, but we can ask for it. Or we can ask for all the deposit back and part of the lift. Or if a project is attractive, you can customize it. So if a project is, if you want to really sell the project, a unit, you can customize this part where you can say, well, I'll take my deposit now, or a certain percentage of my deposit now, and then the rest can be paid at home. Okay. What else? What else? Oh, wow. Second slide. I will share this with you so you can see what the second slide is for deficiency walkthrough. When does the strata fee start? So that's a great question. Strata fee starts at the time of completion, not when you purchase the place. Okay. Can you give an example? Explain the process of assignment. So can you explain the process of assignment? Didn't quite follow. Assigning and assigner. Okay. So the way assignments work is when you have the contract, you can basically sell that contract to somebody else who wants to live there, right? And the way it works is at the time of assignment, you can sell that unit for a profit, and the way it works is, number one, you have to get developer's permission. The second thing is, if you have a buyer already, you can just draft up the contract with a lawyer and then sell it to that person. If you don't, then you need to hire a realtor who can market and promote this assignment for you and sell it for you. So in order to promote and sell, we need developers' permission. Once we get developers' permission, we market the property. And the way it works is you are selling your contract to that person who is committing to complete, okay? So you don't have to complete. And they will give you, in exchange, they'll give you some money right now, and then you'll get everything else at completion. And once, I think when we sit down and I show you the assignment of contract and how the math is done, I think you'll understand that properly. But it's hard to explain over like this. Shams, 36 months pre-approval is only specific project or any pre? So
it's actually for all projects. So basically what we do for any project that we know it's actually coming up, we add them on board. If, for example, you're purchasing a property within a project that was still not added, it does take 24 hours to actually get them added on board. And that way we can actually guarantee the rate for the 36 months. So it's for any project that you're actually buying in Canada, not only specific projects.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Guys, I want to thank you so much for attending this workshop. I hope this was informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us anytime. We are here to help. You will get a link soon via text. You can set up a buyer consultation appointment with us, and we can talk one-on-one about your situation and just go over what your needs are and cater to your needs. Thank you so much, guys, for attending. If you have any questions, you know where to reach us. My number is 825-8881. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much.